Okay. Let's see. Anyone here? Let me just say something. Left caps lock on, but I'm usually yelling in my head all the time. I have music playing. Anyone here? I see one, but I see one like, so I didn't like it myself. Say something if you're here and if you can hear me. 2 people. Okay, maybe one of them's me. Please say something. For the love of God, guys. Perfect. Why is the light like that? Oh, because I'm... You know what's funny is that I was sitting over there with my computer and then I moved it. Really? How many are there? Because I don't believe you. You gotta guess the right number. Maybe you're hearing music because I'm loving this whole not being an actual YouTuber, because it means that I can do whatever the fuck I want, because I don't have to listen to them, except they don't want to not the monetization. It's about, oh my god. Also, ignore my hair and the fact that I've been wearing the same clothes for every single live. That's just how it is. You'd be closer if you put those 2 numbers together. Because I've lost count. My hair is disgusting because I can't remember the last time I showered because I've been studying so much. And yeah, we're gonna hang out today and I'm gonna go fucking crazy. I need to move this water from my computer. I actually, funny thing, I managed to... Okay, I'm very clumsy, so it's not strange that I would break computers. But what's funny is that I broke 3 computers the same way by spilling something on it. The only difference was various drinks. Was it 2 or 3? No, I think it was 3. I think it was 3. I spilt something on at least 5. One of them I spilt something that was sugary, and after that, it perpetually just sounded like crunch, crunch, crunch every time I typed. Yeah, I have an audience in my head, except it's mostly just boo. It's my head, or it's like, haha, you're doing a good job, psych. You're doing like shit. I always get so hyper whenever I'm talking to you guys. I'm waiting. Maybe Snowy will show up. I hope so. Maybe could you, Luke, could you comment on one of Snowy's things? So she, because I never say he, I always forget, and I'm just gonna keep going with it. She sees it because I don't feel like doing it. Because I already said some, and I'm lazy. Do you mind? If you don't feel like it, then I could do it. Hopefully. Yeah, I hope so. I put message twice. If I don't see her for a while, if this goes on for a while and she doesn't show up, I'll put it. Maybe I'll send a message since I'm on now, because I changed the time. Oh, you're on it? Okay, great. Because, like, remember when I said 5 and it turned into 10, and then when it was 10, it turned into 15? Yeah, I wouldn't blame her if she showed up and was like, yeah, okay, 3. Oh, she's not there, bye. Is my name anywhere on these things? Because they need to not be. Oh. Let's turn that around. Okay. We are turning some of these around. Oh, why does that have something on the back too? All right, some of these need to just be turned around. There we go. That one's far away, so I will just take one of these and put it on there. I think if I do this, should be perfect. Anything else? I don't think so. Sorry, just moving things around. Because having your name on shit when you're on YouTube is just generally not a good idea. So you listing my name? No, okay. Fine with this. Oddly, even though this channel is all about my mental disorders, it's like, I'll tell you that I feel like killing myself, but I'll just not say anything else about my personal life. Yay, you're here, Snuffy. Great job, Blue. Okay, let's see. Spamming that 200K guy. Yeah, honestly, if you guys want to do that, because if I do that, it's shitty if a YouTuber does it. But if their subscribers do it, then it's cool. But also, it's bad if you spam them too much. I don't want to be one of those people that's like, oh, subscribers, go spam the hell out of them. Like, no, just like 1 or 2 comments. And I'm going to trust you guys to do that. Because if I do that, that's shit. And I'm not one of those people to send my spams, but the subscribers out to people. I don't know if it's weird to do it either way, but I'm a selfish, narcissistic person. So if you want to, that's great. Just don't do it harassment-wise, because that's just going to tank my channel. But anyways, don't be, both of you, before we start on my shit, how are you guys doing? Excuse me, time to chug a bit. Yes, I know it's like 3, it's not even 4 p.m., but let's just ignore that, because if you didn't notice, the murder scene is still up. Is there like a delay in the chat, or are you guys just slow when typing? I don't mind if you're slow in typing, I'm just curious. I was just working on some school stuff. Ah, me too. Are you in college, uni, or what? Weird. I sent it out before. How old are you two? Oh, they're just out of sync. That's pretty typical. Yeah, YouTube is just shit. It's speeding up now, so that's good. I guess it's also kind of good that there's not many people, so it like goes a little bit faster. Last stream was a little late to notify too. Yeah, I've been having trouble with the notifications, and also it'd be great if I had a community tab. That'd be fun. Should we like, okay, I don't know how to do technology at all, which is why I don't edit my videos. But I noticed that seems to be a trend that people like. Am I wrong? People seem to like it now because of Twitch and everything. 29. Ah, okay, so what are you studying? That's cool that you're still studying. A lot of people, like, if they get past 25, they're like, I'm done, unless they're like in med school or something. I hate it when people are like, no, I can't study anymore. Like, if it makes them happy, like it makes them upset, like they hate school, that's fine. But it's like you could be 40 and decide you want another degree, which is probably what I'll do. I have some degrees that I'm like, I want to finish med school, and then maybe like 10 years later, I'm going to go get an art associates. I literally have that planned in my list. Means more genuine personality and emotions and stories. Well, yeah, I get that, but like people also, but I mean, like some of my biggest videos involved editing because, but maybe that was just because those quick, like the cut edits were funnier. But it wasn't at a time doing that. Maybe that was at a time when Shane Dawson was doing it before his pedophilic shit was coming out. And I'm sorry, but like, I'm not sorry, but like, I've been studying my forensics psychology, and there's a difference between these things. It's not like you can have pedophilic tendencies and paraphilia without you having done it. And it's also very different because I wouldn't call him a pedophile necessarily or a person that's at risk, but I would say that he's a person who he's mentioned he's had traumatic experiences. And I think that he needs to have that addressed a bit more because the way he's dealing with it, I'll check the chat in a sec. Noticed that one of his ways of like dealing with it was to make jokes about stuff, but those jokes are not okay. That's what needs to be worked through, is the fact that a lot of people who've gone through trauma, I've seen it, and it's not like it's their fault. It'll be like, I'm going to go into why it's his fault with the YouTube thing, but it's not their fault that they start to normalize it in their brain. It's kind of like a coping mechanism. And because the people, if it's a long term thing, or it'll be like that's their way of coping, is normalizing it in their brain. But the problem was that he became such a big YouTuber. You can't do that. You kind of, when you're an adult, then when you're an adult, you just got to go and be like, okay, it's not all right to make jokes about sexual things with kids involved. Like, if you're going to say something sexy, it should not be followed by anything regarding a child. Unless you're just saying, that's a sexy dress that's just inappropriate for a child. When you're saying it's inappropriate because it looks like something that would be considered sexy. That is the only time I could think of at all that it would be appropriate, because sexy and children should not go together at all. Okay, I'm going to check the chat now. I've been working on my MS in computer science. I switched careers. That's really cool. Like I have like family that's like around that age. It's still working like PhD and stuff because it takes a long time. I'm probably going to be in school until I'm like fucking 35 because it takes me a bit longer because the education system doesn't like to be helpful to people who have disabilities, and then people, aka some of my family, get very annoyed. They're like, why are you taking so long? Why'd you have to drop those classes? Look, you got F's in those, you keep doing that. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm being pushed. There's a whole lot of things I've got to rant about, and it's going to be multiple lives. Now the next thing is, no, I read that. I think it's the genuine interactions. This is Snowy. I think it's the genuine interactions between you and the audience, but I don't know. You don't have to say, but I don't know. You can just say, like, this is, like, I'm guessing. Personally, I hate it when people are, like, saying a whole statement about their opinion. They're like, but I don't know. It's like, dude, hang on to your opinion. It's okay to have one. See, I can't stand the onion sun style of editing. What is the onion sun style that you think of? Also, I love the way you guys hung on to it. That was a missed opportunity. Like, why did no one think of onion sun? Son of an onion. Son of a thing that makes you cry. And not for any reason that you're sad. Just because it just will make you cry just because. And then computer science, props to you, man. Yeah, seriously, props to you. Because computer science, honestly, to me, you've noticed, I'm pretty sure, how going on live is hard enough for me. No, they call him Onion Boy, or like just Onion Guy or something, and it's like, no, Onision, Onion Son. Missed opportunity. But at least I got it. It's my original thing. Also, everybody is so concerned about making original content on YouTube. It's hilarious. It's like, guys, we're still using shit from Nietzsche and Socrates. What's original is what you expand upon on it. Like, you can come up with an idea that's original, but that doesn't mean that your idea hasn't been thought of. It just means, like, what if somebody else thought of it but wasn't a YouTuber? Like, it's just so much like, just do what you like, do what you want to do. And I'm learning about all this bit by bit as I'm going into YouTube more and trying to, like, I don't know, do the thing that I notice a lot of YouTubers don't do. Maybe I'm narcissistic. I don't really care. They don't seem to look at what other people do that gets them in trouble and then think, okay, I'm going to keep that in mind. instead it's like, let me look at what got them more subscribers and use that. It's like, I'd rather just not be canceled for stupid reasons, but not like I care about being canceled in that sense, because I believe that I wouldn't do anything that would be worth canceling, because I would probably make a stupid mistake, but I don't know the future. I don't know the future, but if I get canceled, that would be just hilarious, because I'd just be like, all right, I gave you guys a warning that I'd make a stupid mistake. Okay, I think, let's see. Everyone, onion san in Japan. Oh, like when they're saying like, what does Sammy? I'm blanking. Yeah. I'm actually like, my IQ, by the way, is in the 99.99 percentile, which Snowy, you probably know, like with the statistic wise, that's very high. And people say that the IQ system is it's not very accurate. Yeah, it's not in schools because it's not like that. But I went to an educational psychologist. It was very individualized, and I'm going to hang on to that. And also, even if it's wrong, I don't think that if you're in the 99.99 percentile, that I could be incredibly lower than that, or incredible, like it would change. And I'm not tall enough to be a model. Too much acne probably. I can't cook for shit. I hate dealing with computers. I have nothing more than my intellect and ability to do things within just being really smart. So I'm just gonna hold on to that fact. Okay. Lou, when I think of Onion Sun's editing, it's quick and choppy and never flows. Again, Lou, there's a cut every sentence and never gets to the point, and it makes my stomach feel queasy. I guess there's a fee to being queasy. Onision in Ireland. You guys are confusing me with those things. I kind of get it because you're just saying like the different ways of saying it, but I'm just gonna go with my onion son. Lou, individualized IQ tests are leagues more dependable. I don't know what you mean with the capitalized word leagues. Like, I'm guessing I'm reading that right, but it makes no sense. So maybe not. More dependable than standardized ones. Yeah, there's standardized tests, but when you're doing individualized with an educational psychologist, they will calculate it. But in my report, like he writes out an entire report, like a little mini booklet, like over 10 pages long, and in it says this may be inaccurate if she got bored or had attention problems. That was before I was diagnosed with ADHD, and I was like, wow, he probably already knew and could tell, because one of the things that I had an issue with was they will say a series of numbers. The person will say a series of numbers and ask you to repeat it. That's ADHD. That's just hell to ask an ADHD person to do it, much less an unmedicated, undiagnosed one who's just sitting there like, all right, you said 3 numbers and you lost me. But if it was written down and then you moved it, that would be way easier because I have more of the photographic, but that doesn't technically exist kind of scientifically. But it was just like, if even with having ADHD, I could have, like he said, he never got a score above 160. And I was like, they give you also, by the way, one of the parts of the IQ test when they're properly done is they give you a range. You don't get a one number. They say you have this to this. And I was like, up to 155 or something. But I think genuinely that I would have been 160. And I'm not saying that just to like boost my ego. Part of it, yes, I'm going to admit that. But part of it also logistically, I wasn't medicated. That was before I had any of my ADHD meds, even knew that I had it. So I really think that would have made a huge difference, because that was the section that tanked me. Because they have different sections of the IQ test, and I can't believe that like if I did it again that I wouldn't be able to raise my points where my range would reach 160. So, and the particular test I took also was one for like up to 16 years of age, and my mother's like, it's not considered anymore, and I'm like, just please let me. I need to hold on to this. Okay. Snowy, we're joking about how he would be called in other countries. Yeah, I figured that. I was just like, I'm not getting the joke, but I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. Uh, Lou, standardized tests just blow in general. I'm guessing by blow means just they're shit or they just don't go well. And if so, I agree with that so much. Lou, one of, if not the biggest flaw in America's school system is the standardized learning and lack of understanding of other forms of learning. Say it louder for the people in the back and actually for the people in the front because they can't hear it either. Okay, Snowy, I hope I don't have to take an IQ test. I'm sure seeing my stupidity quantified would drive me to suicide. Honestly, seeing it quantified, it was very gratifying to feel that. But after that test, I also realized I had so much test anxiety because it was like, damn, I got to live up to so much. But also part of like with my ADHD and being autistic and just being bipolar, I have many, many mental disorders. I'm going to play a game of guess how many I have, by the way. I've mentioned it, but briefly, but also I want you guys to guess. We'll play that game later though. But what was I saying? Yeah, I was talking about after that, it caused me a lot of test anxiety, but also it was at a time where I was in the 9th grade and then I went to 10th grade and then it was a different type of curriculum because I was in Saudi and they had the option of the regular Arab kind, which is what I was doing for, well, actually, no. For middle school, I had what they called the American diploma thing, which would basically meant they were teaching more of the subjects in English, like the science ones and math, and they would include some Arabic just to help people understand, but it was the test and the material was in English. And I was like, thank God, I need that. And it was very, very helpful. But when I moved to, that was when I hit about like 7th, 8th, 9th, when I hit middle school, a common thing when you're autistic, so we're going into the autistic education part now. A very common thing is, especially with females, it's especially common that it will be hidden for a very long time, just because the dynamic is very different. And also because the shit of stupid thing of how they just spent years of being like, yeah, let's just study men. This is a neurodevelopmental disorder. Obviously, they never said it's gender specific, but they were just like, let's just only study boys. And also, if you ever look it up, it's so frustrating because to find stuff about autistic adults is ridiculously hard. It's all about autistic children. And it's like, well, damn, do you know what kids do? They become adults eventually. And also, I get it. It's for like parents to understand how to deal with it. But so much of the system is based on like how to deal with the parents, like what the parents want to do to make their lives easier. I get that you need that, but you know what will help? If you help the autistic child, they probably won't be as difficult to deal with. And so they have a newer therapy where they do that. Just get another pair of shoes. They have a different therapy. I forget the name. I'll look it up. That they're doing, which, if I am not mistaken, don't quote me on this, is basically working on family dynamics to be able to help the whole family work with it. I haven't finished my other apple juice thing, but I'm gonna get another one just because. Watermelon, lemon, or tangerine? Damn, I am pale. When we look in the actual light, like the proper light, like this is where light is good. Oh, thank God, I fit the gothic sense. Now, guys, lemon, tangerine, or watermelon? Answer. Lemon, tangerine. There are 2 people here, so I'm going to go with watermelon because that was the one I was going to pick anyways. I just wanted to see what you guys would say. Well, I know. I figured it was just a lag, Snowy. Oh, by the way, I forget. I think you clarified. You are a he, right? Oh, Lou, well, I mean in front of light. You hurt my Fifi. Yes, I'm a he. Why would I hurt your feelings? I call you a she all the time. I just wanted to make sure that I was doing the opposite. Because you guys fuck with me, why can't I fuck with you? You didn't hurt my Fifi. It was a joke. I know, but I like to check anyways. But either way, I'm really sociopathic, so no offense. I don't really feel bad when it comes to those type of things, but if it's someone that I want to keep in my life, I will apologize, because it's just like, well, if you're shit to them all the time, then they'll probably leave. But I like to just get them used to the fact that I'm an asshole. I'm gonna be an asshole. So I'm just gonna start this channel, which I say start, but it's been a while. It's not just starting, but like continue within the beginning with a small group of subscribers. Just get used to the fact I am an asshole who can be very egotistical and narcissistic, and don't expect much else from me. But also, I'm not afraid to be wrong. So do call me out. Let's see, what was the other thing? Lou. I was gonna say watermelon, but whatever I suggest watermelon, everyone laughs at me. Oh, whenever. I can't, my eyesight is so bad. Why do people laugh at you? It's a flavor. That's I like cheese sandwiches. Ha ha ha. What the fuck? What's Dude, don't worry about it. That is just idiotic. They're the stupid ones. Let them laugh, because in essence they're laughing at themselves. That is the most idiotic thing I've ever heard of someone to laugh about. Unless it's like an inside joke, but well, obviously not, because you weren't going to tell me that. And also, I hate when people say don't tell me things. So guys, be honest. I'm not going to judge you. I'll make fun of you, but I'll clarify that it's just me fucking around. But I don't judge you for it. Like, it's just jokes. I like upfront assholes. They're cooler than behind your back assholes. Yeah, I'm not a behind your back asshole if it's someone that I like, but if I don't care about the person, everybody's very self-centered, no matter how empathetic they are. Like the people who give these apologies online, they just want to seem empathetic, but they don't mean it. So if it's someone I don't care about, why should I try to do, like, I'll be nice because eventually I'll need something. And because it's not productive for me to do something like assault someone, if they piss me off, I'll end up in jail. It's just not going to be good for me in the long run. But the way my brain works is sort of the idea of, well, I just don't care, but I'm pretty logical. I'm a very logical person. And I like to just say, I'm an asshole. And I hate things like the way Dr. Mike just went and casually put it on his smaller channel and then just never addressed it again. Why do you think that is? I used to be naive and think that people had good intentions, and then I was like, even if you look like a good person, you're just kidding yourself. Because I have very empathetic friends, and I'm like, how do you guys, like, I've seen you guys act like assholes way more than sociopathic people. Because when you're sociopathic, you don't do it because just in the long run, it doesn't help. If it helps you, fine. And if it's with people that understand you, fine. If you just want to fuck around with them and they know you're just like that, fine. But when empaths do it, and not in the whole like empath with the way Shane does it, he ruined a word that was just like, I want to be able to use it from like just to practically use it in a sentence. And when I use it, just know I'm not referring to empaths. But when they do shitty things, it's like, how do you deal with that when you're so emotional? Because if you're sociopathic and you do something bad, even if you usually have a reason, because it would be self-serving in the end, and it's self-serving not to do it. I'm going to look at the comments because I'm interested in what you're saying. You guys are still talking about watermelon while I'm talking about sociopath? Wow. Okay, wait, I'm going to look at this stuff. The other ones. Lou, I like. Oh no, you said that was about that. Snowy. Hey, he recommended watermelon. Let's all point and laugh. Yeah, honestly, it would be like somebody picked up a fork and to eat their salad and be like, "Oh my god, you don't eat lettuce with spoons?" Like that's what it sounds like to me. And also, if somebody eats lettuce with spoons, does it hurt you? No. Would I ask them why? Yes. Would I laugh at them simply? I'd probably be like, what the fuck? But I wouldn't be like, ha 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 ha, this is hilarious. But I'd be like, why do you eat it with a spoon? And if they told me why, I'd be like, okay, cool. And watermelons, no, oh wait, let's see. Snowy, you care about what Gusty, LOL, right? Is that like gossip? Watermelon is no inside joke. Lou, that was Lou. I say this now because people will watch it later. Lou, what's Gossy Snowy? Well, if someone picked up a fork for soup, that would be funny. Yeah, that would be funny, but I don't know if that would mean like they just want to savor the taste or want to have an excuse to stab themselves in the mouth because usually you use a fork to put the food in your mouth and take it out. But if you don't have anything on the fork, Lou, warm salad though. What the hell? Watching this channel has definitely changed my pre-existing beliefs. I'm just gonna say warm salad, just the salad becomes warm because you put it on warm rice, you dumbass. But yeah, it probably is weird because then the salad is warm and still eating warm salad, and I get that. But also, do you care if I call you a dumbass like that? I will as a clarification, when I say that, consider it a term of endearment because that means I'm just say words. Okay, let's try this again. That means I'm just gonna be able to, let's say, assume that you know me well enough to know I don't mean it in a bad way. So clarify if that's cool. Snowy, you've, as far as I know, clarified from the way that you talk to me that you don't mind being fucked around with as long as as long as it's clear. And if you guys ever think that I'm saying something mean, just tell me right away and I'll explain. Or I'll just be like, oh yeah, that probably sounded shitty. Sorry about that. I just do that. I like being told up front. But so answer those two questions, please. And then after that, Lou, and I'm saying this in order just because my brain, I need to take more of my ADHD meds, but because of my brain, oh yeah, I don't mind. Okay, good. If you're ever not sure or it sounds like it's really asshole-ish, tell me because I do want future references because people who don't know who don't know me will take things a bad way. I have a funny story, by the way, because I was emailing my professors, a TA with them. I'll get to that. After Lou responds, just because I need to keep my brain in order. Like literally in order, not like in order, keeping it together. That just doesn't happen. In the meantime, I'll just say the thing with my professor, Lou, don't sweat it. Got it. Okay, moving on. I really want to know what changed in your pre-existing beliefs. You're under arrest for calling me poopy head. When did I call you poopy head? I don't even remember. And also, you can't arrest me. But I have been handcuffed before. I need a cop in the groin once. I was handcuffed to a gurney. Another story. I think I have a video of it on my channel. Let me see if it's still there. Or if I took it down because I never put the part 2. It was part of an in the bathtub thing. No, it's not there. I'll have to explain that later. I remember that story. You were in the hospital. You didn't. Yeah, I think I took down the video because it really wasn't clear. But I can make an. I want to make another one of that story time because it. I'm not make. You can't make this shit up. I feel like if my channel ever gets followers, one of the things people are gonna criticize me for are gonna be like, these are fake stories. No, they're not. Believe me, they're not. Because why the hell would I tell a fake story? That just takes too much work. I'm autistic. Talking alone takes energy from me. Okay. Oh, I need to check something. Please, Lou, write down the pre-existing beliefs that changed. I'm really interested in that while I check this email because then I'm going to tell you the funny parts of it. 8 additional materials if you count the YouTube video. Okay. Do you guys want me to talk about the... Okay, actually, I'm going to start with what I was considering for this. Oh, wait, who responded? I think there's a lag in the comments. It's really annoying. Uh, well, I've always thought that people who are sociopathic were callous and cruel people, but I've never gotten to see anyone of Arab descent in such a human light. I don't know if is it the oh, and okay, I thought you were putting those two things together, and I was like, I'm very confused. But yeah, people who are sociopathic are callous, but it's different from what people think because there is a different thing. In the DSM also, I wanted to clarify something that I found that was interesting that I learned. Not trying to sound close-minded about the race thing. I understand that because you'd be closed-minded if you weren't willing to learn. Like if you just heard all this and were like, no, they're so shitty. I don't know. Maybe you are closed-minded about other things, but also there's just the internalized racism thing. Like that guy that came in and was like, Allahu Akbar, I'll blow up the terrorists. I am a person who doesn't give a shit about those people because to me, I'm just going to call them idiots and not intelligent because I don't know you. And that is the only part that I have seen of them. And again, if you're going to make that kind of comment, please get original. Give me something original. But I appreciate how you guys don't do that because I don't like it just in the sense of it's pointless and it's just like a way of showing me that why should I even mention that I'm Arab? Because it's not going to get through. But the idea of the internalized race thing, I can understand that because of the 9/11 thing. That was a big deal, kind of. What pissed me off is that most of them were, I don't think a lot of them were literally from Saudi Arabia. There's the Arab Peninsula, but only one country is actually called Arabia. And that's annoying to me. They generalize it, and it's like how they generalize any race and minority in this country. But what's funny is it's not always a minority. Sometimes it's like that. Well, actually, they would be a minority, but in some places they aren't the minority. They are the majority, but still treated like they're the minority in terms of being racist and being discriminated against. And I have dealt with being discriminated against my entire life over there and here because over there I was the weird kid that looked more American. So it's an interesting thing to be discriminated against for being white, or in my case, looking white because I'm mixed. I don't. People say mixed is just. I notice it's only used when you're talking about someone who's mixed black and white. But I feel like doesn't that apply to anyone who's mixed? I don't know though. Let's see the next one. Um, I've also learned. This is Lou. I've also learned about the stories and cases you've made vids about, like cases I would never have gotten to hear about if I hadn't watched your vid. Thank you. They are out there online actually, because some of them I learn about online, but like the Banaz Mahmoud case, once I'm done with my courses and then I have a little bit more time in this makeshift rehab place, I'll be able to make that next video. That one I have not seen more than like, I haven't seen any videos on it in any of the big true crime channels. Only on the smaller ones, maybe even just 2 or 3, barely anything. One usually, like if you look up Chris Watts or something like that, there's a million things on it. But when it comes to things like that, I get that it's not a lot of people on YouTube, the viewers are from the United States, but like still, these are very important cases. Honor killings, very, very important. I see 4 people. Who's the other person? If you're there and you want to say hi, hello. If you don't want to say anything, that's cool. Let me see. Lou says, giving me a different view on, my eyes are really bad close up and far away. Giving me a different view on how your mental health really impacts your actions, and your mental health doesn't excuse your shitty actions. Thank you. I appreciate how you're getting that views, because like I think people who are disabled deserve benefit of the doubt of why they did things, but that doesn't mean benefit of the doubt in taking responsibility for it. Excusing the cases of where they genuinely did not know what they're doing, but cases of people who are like me where they didn't know what they were doing but like when you're disabled, it's a very, very individualized case. But let's say in the case of people who are mentally ill but have the capacity to learn, it's kind of shitty not to try to learn, but I also think it's shitty to expect disabled people or mentally ill people to be able to make that change as quickly or not to make those mistakes. Because if I'm told that I do something shitty, if I do it again, remind me. But I've seen a lot of people in my life be like, they don't tell me until they get to a point where they just blow up about it. This used to happen, but people learn to just tell me up front. And because I will make change, I'll actively try it. And I'm like, remind me if I'm doing it again, because it might take me a bit longer to recognize it, because in my specific case, the autism is like that. But I really try to take into account. And it's a big thing that I get frustrated by is the fact that people a lot of times don't give enough credit for when you're trying, specifically in the cases of autistic people. Because I'm not trying to demean any of the other disorders. I'm just going to say this channel was made to specifically talk about my case and autism. So that's what it's going to be about. And that's what I'm going to focus on. And that's what it might sound like, so just moving something, it might sound like I am like saying all the other disorders don't matter, but no, we're going to play the guess how many disorders I have, because I know what it feels like for many of the disorders. I don't know all of them. And the thing people need to realize is that two people can have anxiety or depression, but both of them are going to experience it differently. They can have the same diagnosis, and it's especially different for autistic people. And I have been reading the DSM, and I found out the whole high functioning thing, they don't really use that. They have level 1, level 2, level 3 in terms of how it impacts your ability to function in your day-to-day life. It's not about, and it's about like how much you can function on average. Like if you were to have to give like, if, like 50, it only impacts 50%, like that type of thing. they don't actually have a section that really talks about the other stuff, like high functioning. It's not high functioning, low functioning. There's a mild, moderate, and lower. And I think there should be subtypes. I think there should be like, for me, I think it should be much more specific with the part on autism. I think neurodevelopmental and even neurocognitive disorders, which I'll get into in a different video. There's so many things I want to talk about. But in the case of autism and neurodevelopmental disorders, they're not looked into enough, especially in females. And also, guys, please add questions in the comments because I love to look back and see them. So that way, that actually helps me also keep my train of thought and know what I've already said, so I don't repeat things. Part of being autistic, we repeat things a lot. And part of why lives are fun is because I go on monologues. That's a common way that autistic people talk. If somebody says hello to me and want to talk about a topic, get ready to hear me for a while. My fiance, I love him so much for the fact that we were talking the other night and he was like, when I come in, I usually give you like the 20 minutes for you to do your thing and just rant about all those things. But then we were talking about, like, he is my fiance, talk about the future. But we've been engaged for a long time and I'm Arab, and so I was used to the idea of engagement. Over there, once you're engaged, that's the only time you can really get to know someone, and barely at all, even being able to. And so for me, I wanted a very quick engagement. Like, I wanted that to be because came out of other relationships and I was like, okay, let's date for a bit. Let's be together for a bit. And then after a bit, I'm like, all right, if we've been together for about 6 months to a year, I don't mind engagement because in America, it's so strange to me how engagement means like in a month or two, you have to start planning. You have to start planning your wedding and you'll be married within the next 8 months or 12 months max, depending on how much your wedding needs planning. And I'm like, no, I just wanted the engagement to have it like you're really serious about this. And I had the rule of I'm not getting married until after my bachelor's degree. I don't mind engagement. Are you saying you don't, but you put quotations? So what do you mean? I'll wait for the next thing. I love how I just switch between topics. Thank you guys for just being like, you know what? That's how it works. I'm gonna get the DSM so I can mention some things about the levels of autism. I'll wait for the other things. Sorry, I just find that quote really funny. Oh, yeah. I guess it is really funny because in America, it's like, I guess what I mean is I don't mind engagement in the sense that it's not scary to me. It's not like, we got to get married now. I've been engaged for about, give or take 3 years. And I'm not going to get married for probably another 1 or 2. I just wanted to know, like, hey, are we planning this or not? Because you can break off an engagement, but engagement means you're planning to get married. And that's in the case of people who want to marry. Like, some people just don't want to do marriage. But for me, it's more about the, like, financial stuff, like, and going, like, being able to go into a hospital and see, just practicality reasons. Okay, let me find the thing on autism. That is a funny quote. I don't realize sometimes how the way I phrase things ends up sounding just so ridiculous to other people. Snowy says, people rush marriage over there because it's the only way guys are allowed to blow off their teenage frustration. Over there, I'm guessing you mean Saudi. And is that what you mean? Because actually over there, engagement can last longer than what it is in America because that's the only time they can get to know each other and decide if they want to. Some people do rush it, but I've seen people be engaged for much longer than what it is in America, which usually people get engaged and it's less than a year they're married. I think, correct me if I'm wrong. Over there, usually they'll be like engaged maybe a year or so because before that, there is no contact whatsoever. Nothing. even if it's not even non-personal, but things have changed with the age of technology, but that doesn't mean that they're supposed to. Parents want that. You see. Oh yeah, I'm an idiot. They'll start in the front. Autism spectrum. Yes, I have this part. Saudi is interesting. They're somehow incredibly westernized, but also traditional at the same time. What I always thought about them is that they're like economically and industrially and all that. They developed so fast, and it was like too fast for the societal and religion, religious things to be able to catch up to it. I want to discuss that, but in a different light. This one is going to be about like I want to finish up the autism thing and then get into what I had planned for today. It was a surprise thing, and I'll explain that. The last thing I just wanted to say is it's about the high functioning thing. Okay, so where is it? That sound is Mavy's drinking water because she kept drinking from my glass of water. So I had to put a glass bowl on the table on a coaster so she wouldn't drink from my cup, but sometimes she still does. Sometimes that's what she does when I put one by my bed. I wonder if she does it at night. Sometimes. Just I'm like, well, she's done it before. I saw that in an episode with Noel. It's so weird when I'm watching like Cody and Noel, that Noel. And he was saying one of the people was talking about how that he found out their dog was drinking their water, and okay, this is completely irrelevant. Let's set this aside so I can finish this. Basically, I want to steal a joke that apparently makes people go apeshit online. I don't understand why, because credit is due. Credit should be given when credit is due, but people really overreact to these things. Just tell them, hey, could you apologize? If you don't, we're going to be pissed. But having the whole internet explode, or YouTube explode, is so funny to watch. Maybe that's just me, because watching it all go down is just entertaining. But to other people, it's stressful. But for me, it's just like, wow, the human species can be so weird. May, are you breathing okay? Give me a second. I want to check if she's having labored breathing. She has allergies sometimes. I'm not sure if she's developing asthma. It's funny. Doctor said she was petite, and I am too. And the vet said that she also has allergies, which I have. I have asthma. So if she has asthma, this is just getting like, cats mimic their people, but like, damn. Hello, May. You breathing okay? All right, the maybes is fine. I'm going to check the comments. If I seem slow, it's because when I talk a lot, sometimes I realize that the autism, let me check the comments first. Okay. Let's see. Don't let us foil your plans. It's Snowy, that's what superheroes are supposed to do. What plans do you think you're spoiling? Since when do I make plans? I have plans that I didn't even know of. Don't worry, if there are plans, I would spoil them myself. Lou, I'm bummed that there's no description. I kind of look forward to what you type in the description. Oh, it's just because I didn't have time to write it, but I'll write stuff. But I can write stuff. Really, you guys actually read it? I thought nobody did. That's why I didn't do it for the lives. But usually with the lives, I start off by just not doing it just to be able to hop onto it. But I'm not sure if during a live I should do some tags, because will that make it easier for people to find it? And then I can do a description later because I edit it. But I actually cannot upload this permanently yet, and I will explain that later. Snowy, you said you had plans. Oh, you mean the plan for the video? You guys aren't foiling it. It's just my ADHD. I'm just trying to find this damn thing because, oh, here it is. Okay. Let's see. Manifestation. This is in the DSM. This is the actual DSM-5. I've had this since I was 14. It was published in 2013. So I essentially got it like within a year of it being published because that was me. Tags also make it easier for the videos to get more exposure. During the live, or I know it gets more exposure if I do it after, but will it help more people see me during the live? I'm going to read this though now. This is something in the DSM, and I can tell you how it's interpreted for me. Core diagnostic features are evident in developmental period, but intervention, compensation, and current support may mask the difficulties in at least some contexts, meaning that there will be the core diagnostic features, but things can mask it, like cultural things, or just, for example, the situations that they're in don't require as much of something. Like the way that with females, the dynamic might not need more of the things that someone can't do, or the level of what an autistic person can do, like when they're born. Basically, what happened with me is like I hit a certain age and I just ran out of my social skills, and I didn't have them before, but it just hit a point where it started to become very obviously problematic with my functioning. Because before that, it was kind of like elementary school and all that. It was harder, it was easier to be masked by the environment. Okay, I was just checking if there's more stuff. All right, the next part, manifestation of the disorder also vary. Manifestations of the disorder also vary greatly depending on the severity of the autistic condition, development level, and chronological age, hence the term spectrum. Let me know if I'm not explaining it enough for each part. I want to just say like sentence at a time, because as a psych student, I know that like from the beginning of my studies to now, I understand things much better. Like these things, when I read it before, I would have understood it, but now I can explain it and understand it much clearer. So just let me know if there's any questions about things and I can answer that. Now, this thing is saying that the manifestations will be very different, and it says the severity of the autistic condition, so the individualistic severity. Luli, so your place on the spectrum can change as you get older. Basically, it's very individualistic, and I don't think they say that it can change necessarily. It does, basically. Okay. Actually, yeah. Essentially, as you get older, if it's hidden when you were younger, then you'll be able to see the problems and where you were, because you basically are still developing, and then there's a point where you'll run out of, think of it as like you'll just run out of the social things that you could figure out, because it's much less hard to figure out social cues when you're a kid. And you also, like kid in elementary school and kindergarten, and also if you make a mistake, they will just be like, oh, it's just because they're so young. But once you hit like middle school or something, which was what it was in my case, when you would be classically defined as high functioning. And I'll explain what that means, because it's like in my case, level 1 is what I was diagnosed with, because you basically then are hit with, now there's so much more requirements. There's so much more social requirements that you are just like, this is new. I can't meet all of this. Before it wasn't, they didn't ask this of me before. What the hell? So it basically just shows, it just pops up. So it's more of your place on how it looks will change. So you might look like you don't have it, and it might look like it's very less severe. And then once you hit an age where there's much more requirements, then it's like, what the fuck? Okay, I can't do this. And also, really, it's not about it changing where you are. It's about, like I said before, how much it affects your ability to function in life overall. Like for me, I will look like a level 3, aka low functioning, the ones that just can't talk, nonverbal, what the classic looking ones, for lack of a better term. If I'm in a place where I'm too stressed. But that doesn't mean that I'm now level 3. It just means that I'm now this is an environment that's just too much. But overall, I have the capability, if in the right environment, to be able to function that way. And most of my life, I still can. But there's still that possibility of it happening. Lou, next thing. So can the change of settings and growth in teenage years be overwhelming, permanently stunt stability? Nothing is really permanent because it's very individualized. So it doesn't stunt the way you are, because inherently you're already stunted, if that makes sense. The thing with autism is that you are stunted in that you don't develop the social cues at all in the way people do. For me, the way that I learn things, and also by stability, do you mean like the stability of your level? Because it's not like your level changes, it's just like suddenly you'll start to show more of the symptoms at whatever age. You know how like suddenly 2 years old, people, a lot of time that's the classic age where the more low functioning will pop up, because then suddenly they have to do certain social things that they are not capable of. And that's just the point where it becomes obvious. It doesn't mean that they weren't autistic before. It doesn't mean that their level was less. It just means that there wasn't more requirements. Because if you look at a baby that was just born, you don't expect them to be able to understand you. You don't expect to be able to look at them and be like, hey, what do you want for dinner? And then to answer you. Sorry, I meant development too. So change of settings and growth of teenage years when permanently stunt stability. Oh, I get what you mean. So stunt development. No, because like I was saying, it's more of where you hit the point where it will then be, you cannot function that way. And the big difference, so is there change between levels really that drastic? It's not a change between levels. It's a change of how it becomes obvious to people. Because Or wait, do you mean like how it looks in person? Because by the way, the change in levels, it's not about the change in levels. I'd still be a level 1 even if I look like level 3. Because it's just about what it looks like to people. That's why I hate the whole high functioning, low functioning thing. Also, I'll fix the lighting in a sec. Because then people assume that you're going to be high functioning all the time. No, it just means that you have the capability of looking like you're high functioning, but it comes at a great cost. And if I force myself to do so much, then it will impact me. And then I might look like level 3, but that does not mean I change in levels inherently. So, for example, I can think of a good analogy. Okay, yeah, you answered the levels thing. Okay, so are we clear on this right now? I'll just keep going. If I need to go back to this, that's fine because you have the questions are there and I can go into it. I just want to make sure you understand that it's really not about, you don't just change levels as you go along. An important part to note though is the way that we learn and the way that they teach. Right now, perfect. I'm glad I did. Again though, I just want to say I am not a psychiatrist yet, fingers crossed. But I am a specialist in having autism in my case. So I can explain to you what it's like for me and what I understand. And you guys are going to come along with me in my journey as I become a doctor. So probably have this channel for a while and might go up and down in how much I use it depending on my, workload and stuff. But I still want to have this so you guys can see, because then I could go back on this and be like, hey, now I understand this better. That's why I'm saying this is what I get from it now. But I was genuinely so happy to see this part. Now, then, the next thing, the manifestation of the disorder also varies greatly. Hence, depending on the severity. Oh, I went through that condition. Autism spectrum disorder encompasses disorders previously referred to autism, infantile autism, childhood autism, Canner's autism. That's a different thing. These are just different types: high functioning autism, atypical autism, pervasive developmental, blah, 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 otherwise not specified, and Asperger's disorder. It's basically saying that all of those things, and a lot of those were what was in the DSM-4. Asperger's disorder does not exist anymore. It's just part of the spectrum. So it exists like the symptoms exist. It's not like we look at them and they're like, you don't have a disorder anymore. It's just like the category's now changed. And there was a lot of controversy over that because of insurance companies not wanting to pay because it would be considered differently, the disorder level, and it would be more disability. And then there's problems where people think there's less of a stigma with Asperger's, and that's personal choice. But I'm just like, hey guys, I'm autistic. And because of that, I probably repeat that about 5 times, but that's it. And the impairments in communication and social interactions specify blah, 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 blah. Diagnosis is most valid and reliable when based on multiple sources of information. And that is important because you can't just rely on one source, because then it will be like saying you're only getting an example from one person who's seen them. But that one person, for example, is a teacher that would only see them at school. Instead, and that won't give you an accurate look on who the person is, because you won't see them when they're at home, when they're in a more comfortable environment. Hopefully this is better lighting. You're good with lighting? Take a drink. I need water. Yeah, I don't usually talk a lot, And since this is lives are essentially, there's nobody, no like somebody else talking for 5 minutes, my voice is gonna start deteriorating, but I'm having a lot of fun, so I don't care. And I don't need my voice much right now, so light is shining. Great. Okay. Now we're gonna stop with that. I'll explain the rules later. Or actually, maybe I'll just give a brief idea. Okay. I'll just tell you the names of it. Severity level 3, requiring very substantial support, so a lot of support in order to function in life. Level 2, requiring substantial support, not very substantial though. And then level 1 is requiring support. So if you notice, there's a common thing of requiring damn support. A little bitter, very bitter. Snowy, are you still there? If so, feel free to ask questions. Whew. That was very long-winded. All right, I need a break for my apple juice. Oh, it wasn't very full. I wasn't just like really chugging. Oh, okay. I don't want to distract you, by the way, but thanks for staying here. I was going to go into some of my schoolwork too. Also, the reason I can't post this right away is because I asked my professors, or the TAs, because there's a bunch of TAs, and I wrote urgent in the title. Nope, still no regular verb. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Let's go into school stuff. I'm going to tell you something funny first, then we'll move on to what I need to study for today. Hi, you're back. Hi. I was so happy that you came here before, and I'm going to be like real shitty right now and just say I didn't know your channel, and I didn't know you had like 200,000 subscribers, and so you actually coming back here, I don't know why, but I'm very happy that you are here. Thank you. If you want to give me a shout out, if you notice, I'm just going to let you know I am an straightforward asshole. So if that sounds bitchy, then I'm just going to be honest about it, but like, you don't have to, and I'm not expecting it, and I'm not begging for it. I'm just saying. Oh, wait, something happened to the channel. I hate how YouTube protects those people. Okay, if something happened to your channel, then never mind. I am not important in this case. What the fuck happened to your channel, dude? All right, great. You're an asshole too. Then I'm just going to be honest. I have 36 subscribers, so if you can, that'd be great. And I only say that because call me narcissistic and egotistical, but I kind of think that mental health and talking about autism is important. And coming from an autistic person, yeah, it's kind of like why it sounds like, oh, you just want people to see you. But this is kind of an important topic that not many people talk about, and people like YouTube likes to squish. Let's see. Yeah, there's some controversy lately surrounding me. I was on Scare News for, I don't know what that is. YouTube is trying to silence me, basically. I saw what you did. Like, I didn't get any notice from my subscribers that you did bad things. Because at first they were like, oh, you're the person who deals with predators. And I was like, what the fuck? Because I didn't know you very well. And what's this controversy? Is it another one of those stupid things? Or is it like, I can understand YouTube because they just don't like to listen to, like, they don't promote my channel. I've been doing this for a while, but God forbid I put in mental health in my tags. So yeah. No, I do good things. Basically, YouTube is protecting the predators by taking away my money. So they demonetized you completely because they don't want you to be talking about predators that you're calling out. That's shitty. I can understand. Okay, that's very shitty. I haven't seen, like, looked into your content lately because I haven't looked into anyone's content except the ones that I've already, like, subscribed to that I know because I've been studying a bunch of shit in forensic psychology. So that's a coincidence that you've come here. So, because I was just the last chapter that I was focusing on, one of the things I was going to discuss was sexual predators and sexual violence, including a little thing called internet predators. So it's very, very coincidental and very, very actually a cool coincidence that you showed up. That was actually a surprise thing that I was going to talk about. But I don't know your channel, so I think what the concept is very, very good. I'd just be weary of only because, like, it's very hard to know for sure. But I'm guessing that you wouldn't be here if you were, like, thinking, if you were into just making up shit about people and think that they're predators, since this is a what's it called? This is a mental health channel. I'm really not trying to shit on you. I'm just saying I don't know you. So it's just, weariness simply because of how much that is. No, exactly. I exposed someone for faking it recently. For faking being a predator? Who the fuck wants to fake? Or somebody that was faking, like, I hate people who don't take it seriously. See, exactly. So thank you for understanding. That's why I'm trying to be so careful, especially after I found out all the Eugenia Cooney things about her mods and stuff, that I, like, even told the subscribers that, like, I might take off mods just because I'm so weary of it. They fake catching predators. That's what I was worried about. So I'm glad you called that out. Wait, what were you saying no to? Oh, you were saying that was what they did. That is not okay. Because then it's just going to be the person that cried wolf. Nobody's going to believe the people who are actually doing it. That's great. That's lovely. I don't know what you did, but I saw something come up on my feed and I saw that it was like YouTube is demonetizing me, and I knew what your content was about, and I was like, really? Another one of these cases where somebody talks about something that's important but, uncomfortable to hear about, and it's just not okay. And I'm pretty sure if you're writing that, you check the thing that says this is not for kids, right? Because that's my only concern, is that people who don't do that, because I think it's important for kids to learn this, but you just don't know what age the kid's going to be. Because, yeah, it might be important for, like, people who are teens to know, but an 8-year-old shouldn't be hearing about this stuff, like, yet, in my opinion. They should be warned by their parents, is what I mean. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen, but they can get scared in the sense of you never know what else is going to pop up, because people could do that. So that's really shitty. I'll watch that video of what happened to you later. Yeah, it's really ripping the humanity away from the site. Only people who can make money are music channels and corporate YouTube videos. Honestly, seriously, that's why I'm loving the fact that, like, I'm not monetizing. I don't have enough to monetize my channel. And I honestly this is not my dream career, but it's one of my dream hobbies to have, to spread awareness. But I intend to keep it from being my main source of income, because I want to be able to make sure that I can say these types of things. And it's not bad when YouTubers have it as their main source of income. That's fine. That's great that they can make that their job. But it's just so shitty that it can be like this and suddenly you're out of the job and you don't get a 2 weeks notice. It's not like you get anything, like, you don't have those type protections. It's so shitty how that is. So I'm sorry that happened to you. That is my lovely support. No, May, that's my water. That's my water, not yours. No, May. Here, if anyone needs something happy, here's a look at a beautiful support animal who's trained like a service animal. Say hi, May. She has tuxedo. She always is dressed to impress. How you doing, my beast? Okay. In any case, big surprise if you're still here. I'm glad that you're understanding and reasonable about how my concerns can sound rude, but I guess because that's the main thing of your channel. Because I've been getting very concerned about this with how prominent it's becoming. Predators online and people, especially not just predators online, but protecting predators online. Because that just makes it feel like them feel like they're invincible. And that's the thing in my forensic psychology class. It's a big problem. Okay, yeah, I'm here. And yeah, I understand your concerns. Don't worry. Great. So what I was going to move on to is something I was taking in my forensic psychology course. Well, honestly, I think there's something going on higher up to protect these awful people. I think so too. I think that I don't know if it's a higher up thing specifically for this. I think it's a higher up thing that's just a selfish need for money. I literally have, at the very least, subclinical sociopathic tendencies. But I'm also someone who's been through some shit, and I also